Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How are you? Big mahalo for tuning in. And today we got the front man for a San Diego band playing 3 area dates. March 22nd at the MAC, March 23rd at the Hawaii Convention Center, March 24th at Surfer the Bar at Turtle Bay. They're touring behind Vice Versus, their latest album. They've been called a Christian rock group and have sold millions of records. They've gotten a Grammy for Best Rock Gospel Album, among other achievements, and it's a pleasure to welcome their frontman, guitarist, and vocalist, Jon Foreman. Aloha and mahalo, Brother Jon. Thanks for taking some time for me today.
Yeah, thanks for the call.
You're quite welcome. Good to be on the phone with you. The band has a connection to surfing. We'll get into that a little bit, but your own personal experience with the islands. Give us a little brief history.
Well, I was really excited to talk to you today because actually I had many fond memories listening to NPR, driving across, whichever island I'm on. So it's good to chat with you. One of my favorite memories of recent past, last year I was able to go to Maui with one of my best friends who lived over there for a long time, and we just brought our boards and some backpacks and just hitchhiked across the island and slept on the beach, and that was probably my favorite memory of recent past.
Wow, that sounds like a whole lot of fun. And you were with just one other friend and just on Maui?
Yeah, just his name's Willis Chin, and he lived out there for years. And we were thinking, well, we could rent a car and get a hotel room, but it'd be so much more fun if we kind of roughed it a little bit, So that's what we ended up doing.
That's a great experience. Anything that is a highlight or highlights of that as you're recollecting it now stick out in your mind?
Yeah, we got really good Honolulu Bay right near the end of the season, and it wasn't really a highlight, but we actually were sleeping on the beach when the tsunami hit, and all the sirens and everything were going off. So ended up that night we slept on the lawn of a church. So, yeah, but I mean, that was an experience I'll never forget, hearing the plane fly by with the siren, and that was kind of our call where we were thinking, we should probably move to higher ground.
Yeah, usually a good thing to do when you hear the sirens during the tsunami. Well, that's cool that you were here at least for a local moment and thankfully made it through that little bit of history intact. You've been surfing since when? How long has surfing been a part of your life?
Yeah, I discovered Tom Curran and Led Zeppelin in junior high, and those were 2 events that kind of changed my world, where I, wanted to play rock and roll and couldn't wait to get in the ocean. And so, yeah, that was a little while ago, and I've been, playing guitar ever since and surfing ever since.
So that's a nice little way to make your dreams come true. A great example for folks who maybe have aspirations to do something creative like that, and you've actually put it in motion. Where is your favorite places to surf now that you're a successful musician who's able to thankfully get around the world? I'm sure you're real grateful for it. Where are your favorite places that you've gotten to surf?
Man, Honolulu Bay would definitely be right up there. That I'm a regular footer, so going right is always preferred.
Which bay are you talking about? Which bay?
Honolulu Bay. I'm on Maui.
Okay, got it. And where else, just generally, that you've traveled? Anywhere interesting?
Man, I've had the privilege of being able to surf a lot of really fun waves. We try and schedule our tours a little bit around somewhere to surf if we can, So we've, gotten to surf Indonesia and all over Australia, New Zealand, Europe. I think my favorite places to surf are, uncrowded waves with your friends. It doesn't really matter where, I'll take that any day.
That probably says something about the music that you do too, because I would say, based on that last comment and thinking about your music, how much does your personal spirituality influence your music?
A ton. I would say that, everyone has their own belief systems, whether it's atheism, whether you're agnostic, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, and that is played out not by what you say, but what you do, So as a musician, I think if it's honest music, it's coming from a place where you're actually wrestling with the biggest issues of life, why we're here and what's most important. And that certainly is, for me, what I'm wrestling with, with all the songs. Especially, Vice Verses, for example. That's a good example where I'm wrestling with what it means to be alive, what it means to be dying every breath I take, what it means to be here on the planet that is beautiful and yet flawed, full of amazing aspects and then genocide at the same time and earthquakes and tsunamis and dealing with the beauty and the pain at the same time. I feel like those are the struggles that I wrestle with in my songs.
Are you guys comfortable? I've read different sort of takes on the label being a Christian rock band. How comfortable are you with that label?
Yeah, I'm always honored to be affiliated with Christ. I, being a believer myself, that is a high honor, but I don't think it's something that I can self-apply. I feel like feeding the hungry and helping the homeless and the sick and the broken, that can't be played out with a 5-minute pop song, So it has much more to do with the way I live than what kind of chords I use. And so, for us, it's always been a faith, not a genre.
So do you feel like that you're more on a mission to help feed the hungry and help the homeless than you are to play music?
I feel like we try and figure out how to do both. I feel like where I have the strongest abilities is oftentimes with writing songs, but a 5-minute song doesn't necessarily feed anybody or yourself. And so what we've tried to do over the years is partner up with Habitat for Humanity or help out kids in our own area. For example, we do a surf contest every year. If you're listening, you're invited. It's called the Switchfoot Bro-Am, and it takes place in our hometown where we have, we've had everyone from Rob Machado, Tom Curran, Dane Reynolds, all these amazing athletes that show up to compete. Then we have a bunch of bands that have donated their time as well. We've had everyone from Jason Mraz to OK Go and Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters. And the whole day is to benefit local homeless kids, because for us, music and surfing was what kept us out of trouble when we were kids. And so this is a way to use the things that we love to give back to our community. So those are the ways that we try and live out what we believe rather than talk is cheap, so actually living it out is what we'd rather do.
There you go. Well, that's a nice thing. I'm sure other people who are givers would be inspired by that your take charge attitude as you portray it there. In terms of your musical heroes, John, who are your top shelf musical heroes? You go back through time and there's so many amazing musicians that I have looked up to and still look up to. On any given day, there's a different list. This morning, I was listening to Oscar Peterson, and so I don't know that I'd say, if you asked me today, I'd say Oscar Peterson, Jimi Hendrix,
let's throw Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash in there, and maybe we can round it out with Nick Drake or somebody like that.
So you like eclectic stuff. How about the guitar side of you? How about the influence on the guitar? Who are the guys who really made you want to play?
Yeah, I mean, Led Zeppelin was it for me when I was a kid. I don't know why, but I really latched on to what they're doing. You know, it's basically the blues turned up a little bit, you know, and I feel like that was it for me. You know, obviously I mentioned Jimi Hendrix, but I think B.B. King would be another guy that I really tried to emulate when I was little as well.
When you think about Led Zeppelin, a band that historically were associated, especially if you read Hammer of the Gods, for instance, you would think, you know, there are stories that they made this pact with the devil. That was a famous story in the 70s. Even in the 80s, it went on for a while to make the music that they did. And Jimmy Page, the guitarist, who really in so many ways shaped the sound that you're talking about being inspired by, was a big fan of not a fan. He was very curious in Aleister Crowley. He bought a lot of material, including houses, other real estate, major property. Does any of that go against who you are as a spiritual guy, or it seems like you've been able to kind of shelve that side of it and obviously just embrace the music?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think that there's for me, you listen to the music, and it's the same with reading a book. You chew on the meat and spit out the bones. You know what I mean? And I think for me, there's always something to be taken in from anyone's art form. We were just down in Australia doing a tour called Soundwave, where you know you're sharing the bill with Mastodon and Marilyn Manson, and you know, a bunch of people that probably have different beliefs than I do.
Right.
My favorite thing about music is that it brings people together, and for me, that's one of the beautiful things about a concert, is that you're able to express yourself fully in a way that is like a story. You know, that's your own story, that's your own experience of life, and I respect it.
That's cool. Well, you have a very open mind, and that's a good way to get to, like you said, to expose it to other people. You sort of need to have that. And obviously, you're influenced by a wide range of stuff and have made people happy with your music. When you think about the connection to surfing, just because I don't surf, I've dabbled in it a little bit, but Switchfoot, the term means what in surfing? It's
to put a different foot forward than you normally would. You know, if you normally ride with your left foot forward, like myself, it'd be to ride switch, you know, put your right foot forward. And we love the connotation of not only bringing surfing with us on the road when we're far from the ocean, but also the idea that, you know, we've tried to do something different with our music and take a different approach. I'm always a fan of folks that are willing to try something new, someone that's willing to change, you know, midstream. So that's kind of what the name means to us.
You must be in some ways, just based on what you just said there, Mike Ferris. Do you know who that is?
No. You
don't know Mike Ferris? He's like he's a singer. You talk about switching midstream. It's just funny because I was listening to what you're saying. He's this guy who in the 90s was fronting this southern rock band called the Screamin' Cheetah Wheelies. And they were like... Yeah, and now he is fronting a gospel band, basically. It's he and these women, and they do like what you would think of as sort of like contemporary gospel, but with him adding this like raw blues, almost like Paul Rodgers from Bad Company in his prime, getting into a gospel band. That's sort of what the vibe is like. The guy is Mike Ferris, Farris, and it's just funny because as you talked, when you talk about you like it when someone could switch midstream or whatever, and I think of him as this dude who was doing this raging like Black Crowes-ish kind of boogie, soulful hard rock, and then now he's doing this gospel thing full time, and he does it so well. So Maybe you check him out someday. You might dig that, considering what you do. You might dig that one.
Yeah, love it.
Are you an Al Green fan?
Yeah, I like Al Green. I've had my moments.
Haven't we all, my brother?
Come on.
Who hasn't had their Al Green moment, huh? No human,
right.
No human being couldn't relate to that. And finally, as we sort of wrap it up, when you think of, did you ever meet Jimmy Page? Have you met any of your heroes? When you think of the big heroes,
yeah. I got a chance to meet John Paul Jones actually, and actually. It's a small world, you know. One of my best friends, in fact, the other guitar player in the Led Zeppelin cover band I was in junior high, he ended up marrying another very close friend of mine, Sarah Watkins from Nickel Creek, amazing musician, singer and fiddle player, and she had a record produced by John Paul Jones.
Right.
So. And her brother, I'm actually in a band with as well, Sean Watkins, and we play in a band that we call ourselves Fiction Family. And so when the Led Zeppelin reunion happened a few years back, me, my friend from junior high that was in the cover band with me, Sarah and Sean, all got to see Led Zeppelin play. And that was, for me, kind of the highlight of my junior high, you know, Led Zeppelin rock guitar phase, you know, to be able to actually hear those songs live and look over and see all these friends singing along with me is pretty incredible.
You're talking about the December at the 2007 at the O2.
That's right.
You were in junior high when that happened.
No, I was far beyond that, but.
Oh, you mean it was that kind of memory? Yeah, I know what you mean. I get it.
It was that memory, and the guy that I was in that band with was actually there with me, along with Sean and Sarah.
Right, I get what you mean.
So, yeah, to be able to see that kind of unfold
right.
with those friends, that was amazing. That was as close as I needed to get.
I was very fortunate. I had a listener at my old station where I was doing afternoons here in Honolulu take me to that show. She won a pair of tickets in the lottery, and then I actually interviewed Paul Rogers the day before and got had just an incredible time. I saw that show myself and saw Paul, went to the after show thing with Paul and Sam Moore from Sam and Dave and Bill Wyman and his band, and I got to say, that is an incredible night, brother. You're lucky that you got to go to that, for sure.
I know, right?
Especially considering how much you love them. So I high-five you on that. I'm proud of you. That's a great moment in your life, and I'm stoked for you that you got to go to that. Well, you're a good kid. I'll talk to you when you get here, hopefully. Maybe we'll have you come by the studio or something, you know, and because you're going to be right around the corner on that Friday. What are you doing at the convention center? Some sort of religious thing going on or something like that?
You know, I don't know. I actually haven't really been keeping up with my schedule, so
yeah, the website lists
I'll find out when I get there.
Yeah, well, just something. I'll reach out to your folks or whatever. I'll drop a line in their ear if you want to do something. If you want to come by the station, record a little thing, we could do that. You know, I'd be supportive of it. It was fun talking to you, and you will be right around the corner. Is why I say that. The gig you're doing on Friday is like 3 blocks from the radio station. So.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah. Did you have fun today? Was this okay? Did you have fun today?
Yeah, it was great, man. It was a great interview. Good questions.
You're the man. I appreciate it, John. And I'll reach out to your folks. You travel safe. I'll give you a big hug and a high five. You're fun to talk to, and I'm rooting you on. I hope you have a great run of shows here in the islands. I'm proud of you guys.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Be safe. Aloha.